In the past quarter, we've taken two big steps on this front. The first was the removal of our buy-side fees, and the second was our transition to a first price auction. So we spent a lot of time listening to our buying community and ultimately came to the conclusion that those steps not only provided transparency, but also a level of consistency for these buyers across their different supply platforms, and that consistency allows them to focus more on growing programmatic media spend and delivering great campaigns versus studying our business models, auctions, and things like that. And so we thought that was a win-win step for everyone.
So when people talk about the problems with transparency, what are those problems and how do you perceive them? And either on the buy side or the sell side, or both, or how do you break it down?
Yeah, so the way I think about it, and also this sort of gets to why I think this is such a pressing issue, is historically I think our industry was very heavily focused on DR campaigns. And so it's not that transparency isn't important in those campaigns, but I think the nature of those campaigns allows the system to self-manage itself a little bit, right? So if you're trying to sell 100 cruise tickets, you either do that or you don't, and at the end of the campaign you know very clearly whether that you gained the result. As we see growth in brand spend within programmatic and campaigns targeting things like awareness, that end of funnel sort of ROI, the ability to measure ROI is a little bit more difficult, and as a result, I think brand campaigns and the advertisers behind those require a better understanding of the inputs in the system so that they can ensure that the ROI is at least tilted in their favor. And so as a result of that, I think we're seeing brand marketers want to understand just all of the components of the ecosystem so that they can, again, start to better understand the likely ROI that they might get on the end.
So what do you think about progress being done to date in that area, and how do you hope or see things over the next 12 months?
Yeah, I think the last year progress has been phenomenal. So fee transparency is a great step forward. I think, again, the auction transition is a great step forward. So I think, again, we're taking component parts of the ecosystem and allowing marketers to just have clarity on how they operate. And so I think that's a big step forward. I think for us, the next big wave starts to get into ensuring that each bid request is kind of appended with as much possible data as possible so that the marketer understands exactly what they're buying, right? So adding things like viewability metrics, adding brand safety scores and fraud scores within the bid requests on an impression by impression basis, I think is allowing marketers to better understand at a more nuanced level exactly what's happening, and I think that's where this all will go.
Tell us about the demand side and their expectations.
Yeah, I think a decent amount of what we talked about, but when I sit down with marketers, I think they're just trying to understand the ecosystem and have a level of trust with how it operates. So again, many steps in that direction thus far, and I think we just have to continue to help educate them and ensure that they kind of understand what each component does, who's accountable for that component, and I think that's what we should expect.